Cyril Walker is actually my partner John's great-grandfather, and his family had kept all of Cyril's letters through the First World War since that they were received. So I had the opportunity of reading through them last summer and said to John, do you know, this would make an absolutely fantastic play. It's such a brilliant story. Would you mind if I put something together? So asked permission of the rest of the family as well. And through the course of last autumn, while I was doing the Mousetrap at the Gaiety, I wrote this play, and here we are now.
And how much of a picture do these letters give of the character of Cyril Walker?
We were very lucky that Cyril was a very eloquent and detailed writer. So the letters are amazing in terms of explaining what was important to him, what concerned him, and his experiences. So when he first joined up, he joined as a seaman. He'd run the family mill, so he was used to commanding men and looking and giving orders and things. So he was very concerned about not having a commission because he felt he had leadership qualities. So he was very focused on that at the beginning part of the war and the training. And just making sure that his wife back home was okay. So the letters have a very different theme depending on who the recipient is. So the letters to his brother and his father are very much about the horrors, the difficulties of what he's seeing, whereas the letters to his wife are very much about why he's fighting to protect the honour of the country, to make sure his family are safe, and to make sure that they had the right future.
And this play, it is a one-act play, obviously.
Yes.
So therefore, I mean, picking and choosing what to include must have been really difficult. I suppose I want to ask you about how much artistic license you used.
So there is some for sure. As you mentioned, the play goes from the beginning of his journey right to, unfortunately, his death in 1918. So we had to really pick out the highlights in terms of, and the lowlights in terms of Cyril's journey, but also make sure that the story had a good flow to it. So particularly the letters to his wife are very much letters that I've written because we wanted to show a light and shade for the experience of the audience, rather than it being just complete the horror of what he was seeing, to actually reflect on some of the things that he was feeling as well.
And I mean, I wonder how you go about casting something like this when you've got obviously a very clear picture in your mind of how you feel it should look.
That was actually really, really easy for me, and actually I wrote the play with those people in mind. So Cyril's brother is actually played by John, so he's playing his great uncle. Cyril's wife Dolly is played by Rachel Jochen, who I've had the opportunity of acting with before, so I know she's a fantastic actress and knew that she'd do the part really well. And then the father is played by Norman McGregor Edwards, who again I've had the opportunity to act with as well. The other great thing is I was able to write a very small part for my daughter, so it's been a real family experience for us.
But you know, the real tragedy of this is that we obviously know how it ended, and Cyril died, and not long before the end of the war.
Absolutely, and interestingly enough, he died in March 1918, and whilst the armistice and the poignant date is November, from about May onwards in 1918, not an awful lot actually happened. There was a lot of just withdrawal of troops and things, so actually really he only died about 2 months before the end of all the real action. You can probably tell as part of researching this, I feel like I've become quite a First World War expert. It's quite strange.